Welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I'm going to be sharing with you and going over some prophetic words about when Bitcoin does reach over that 100,000 mark. Also, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my thoughts and expectations concerning the Bitcoin spot ETF approvals, which are supposed to be done by January the 10th. People are saying it's going to be happening in the middle of next week. So I want to go over some things with that because I think it's important that we stay rooted and grounded. Now, before I get into anything else, I am not a financial advisor. I am just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions about that information. Now, I do want to share that there are individuals out there right now that are already taking advantage of the spot ETF approvals and making it into a prophecy. Now, just to let you guys know that the spot Bitcoin ETFs have the whole issue with that has been around for years now. Okay, so this is not a subject that just recently came up. Over the last 3-4 months, we know that BlackRock was getting into crypto and getting into Bitcoin. So it's easy to prophesy a lot of different things. And I want people to be aware because they're trying to take advantage of you. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Bitcoin is currently sitting at 43,800 and something. If you guys remember, it's only been 3 months since Bitcoin was in the latter part of the 20,000s. As it moved into the 30,000s, remember, it was around the 34,000 range when the whole thing with the spot ETF started to really come back up into the news again with BlackRock and all these other hedge funds and so forth. Then we saw Bitcoin attempt to reach up to 38,000, and then there was a spot ETF that was actually denied. All right, and that was actually in November when that took place, right? And then the momentum began to build up in the month of December, in the beginning, right? We saw Bitcoin come out of the 38,000 mark into the 40,000 mark. And once Bitcoin reached into that 40,000 mark, there was multiple attempts to go up to 44,000. And each time when it did reach that mark, it was cut back down to the 40,000, 41,000 range, right? And they basically took out all the momentum that was happening with Bitcoin and the spot ETF approvals. Right, it would go up to 44,000, then there'd be some news or some selling off, and that happened 3 or 4 times. Those who are in control made sure that it wasn't going to take off yet. And I do want to share this important message from Ken Griffith of Citadel. And I shared in that previous video that they control the markets. They are going to make the headlines huge for the year of 2024. And they're going to try to, right? We're expecting some things to happen, some great things in our lives financially to take place, and we are going to experience some of those things. And I do want to share that, folks, if you're not ready to hit that sell button, don't be one of those that hold on through the bull run and never sell. All right, because there's going to be a lot of cryptos that are going to be going up and down during this time period. Okay, but let's go ahead and listen to what Ken Griffith says, and this is perfect for what I was sharing with you, how they control the market.
Now, passive investing is actually rooted in the theory that markets are efficient, and that markets are efficient because of active managers setting the prices of securities. Firms like Citadel, firms like Fidelity, firms like Viking Global, Capital Research. We're all running large teams of people that are engaged in fundamental research, trying to drive the value of companies towards where we think they should be valued. And passive investing, in a sense, enjoys the market efficiency that we create in our work each and every day.
So he says here where we think the price of that company should be at. And all these different hedge funds, they're all getting involved with cryptocurrency now. So they're going to do the same thing, and they are doing the same thing as they are with the regular stock market. So we have 2 major events for Bitcoin. We have the Bitcoin spot ETFs that are right around the corner, and then we have the Bitcoin halving. And I've shared with you guys 6 to 9 months, according to the charts, when the Bitcoin halving happens is when the next bull run starts. Right, so I'm expecting a bull run to take place with the spot ETFs, and I'm also expecting another bull run with the Bitcoin halving. The only thing is now things are a little bit different because it's more than just retail into crypto. You have these major hedge funds and all these money makers that are getting into cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is being more adopted across the world. You have more governments accepting cryptocurrency. So there's some other things that could affect the price of Bitcoin. Not only that, folks, when it comes to Bitcoin crashing to zero or flash crash, there's a lot of events around the world that are taking place that could take the price of Bitcoin down temporarily before we see some of these things actually happen. Now, Christopher Harris saw Bitcoin at 111,000, and then from there it dropped to zero. He didn't say that it was going to happen instantly, and also he didn't say that 111,000 was the top either. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, Christopher Harris did come out with another prophetic dream, because that one was back in March of 2021. He had another prophetic dream that he saw this year in November, that he saw the price of Bitcoin at 40,000, and then immediately it was at 300,000. That could be a major spike that could take place or happen because of the Bitcoin ETFs. But when it comes to dreams and timing, people need to be really careful as far as trying to interpret it as, oh, it's going to happen almost instantaneously. I don't believe that is going to happen. Now, you can have it where you saw Bitcoin spike to 138,000 on Binance. That was back in June of 2023. So we could see that. Now, when you go to CoinMarketCap, does it tell you that that's Bitcoin's all-time high is 138,000? No, it doesn't. So it just spiked to 138,000. So that could be possibility as well when it comes to the 300,000. It could go up to 150,000 and then spike up to 300,000 on various exchanges, right? Or it could just go up to 300,000, maybe just for a couple of seconds and then come back down. So all that remains to be seen. Now we have Maria Conwell, who also saw a safe selling point, which was also at 111,000. It's not to say that you want to sell at 111,000 when it comes to your Bitcoin, because I do believe that the altcoins are going to be doing whatever they do, like they did in 2021, right? You have some altcoins that reached their all-time high 6 to 8 months before Bitcoin actually did. Now, if Bitcoin does go up to 150,000 or past that point, a lot of people probably will be selling. I think that it's a warning, if you ask me, that if we see Bitcoin go over that mark and you see it go to 130, 140, 150 and so on, I think there's some warnings there that, hey, you need to make sure to sell it off before it reaches this point. Now, you also have a prophecy from Prophetess Rosen Solomon, who said it would go from 90,000 to 150,000, but then it would start to fluctuate between the 90 and 150,000. So once it reaches 150,000, it'll go down to 90,000, fluctuate between that amount, right? So that's very interesting too as well. And this is why you're going to need to also be watchful of your altcoins and making sure that you're taking profits. Most of you are not into Bitcoin. The Bitcoin prophetic pricing is just a tool for us to use concerning the other altcoins, right? If you already own Bitcoin, this is perfect for you, because you know that, hey, look, we have some prophetic insight on where I may need to sell. Then you have Love is God 7. Remember the manufactured spike, the first one that he had. He didn't have a pricing point then, but God gave him another revelation after that, where he saw it at 133,000. That's where it had spiked to. So it could spike up to the 133,000, 150,000 mark, and then just like we saw, like on Binance, it could go up higher on other exchanges. There's going to be a lot of FOMO probably during that time period, so we all have to be careful. I do want to share a prophecy from Maria Conwell, and this is back on December the 18th. The Lord showed me a roller coaster, and I was getting buckled into my seat at the very top of the ride. Prior to a steep drop, and the look in my eyes was absolute dread. I hate heights, and I couldn't see the end of the drop, but I knew we were going to drop. This is related to BTC, but the Lord said, watch for the individual altcoins that will rise as BTC drops. Take profit from those as you are able to. There will be another small rise up in BTC and then another drop as well. Take profits from the altcoins as you are able to. They will go up individually. Now, most of you, as you can see this picture here too as well, it's always that first drop, right? Which is always pretty crazy when you're on Rollercoaster. Now, one of the things for me is I stopped getting on roller coasters when I was a teenager because I kept getting sick. And it didn't matter what kind of ride it was. Any kind of ride in an amusement park that I got on, I got sick. But when it comes to Bitcoin, to me, I feel like, and I could be misinterpreting this, but Bitcoin is going to rise up to wherever it's going to rise up to, right? Whether it's 133,000, 150,000, or 300,000, it's going to rise up to a certain point at the top. You're going to see altcoins reach their all-time high either before or even after that point. This is where we have to be really careful, but then you're going to see Bitcoin just drop, right? And then just like on all the roller coaster rides, doesn't the roller coaster go back up high again? Maybe not as high as it did before, right? So those are the things that we're going to have to look out for, because it's going to be pretty crazy to see all the things that are going to be happening in the crypto markets, because we've said before, Taiwan might get attacked. There could be some political turmoil. There could be so many different things that could happen that could bring down the markets. There could be some companies that fold, right? So people just need to be aware that, there's going to be a lot of volatility. And it's kind of interesting because there's this one other video, which was just another confirmation for me. And it's from Crypto Dose. And he says, mega volatility incoming to Bitcoin and altcoins. Get ready for roller coaster moves. So that's what we're going to see. And that's why, that's why it is important to make sure you are following people who know how to read the charts, but it's going to be very difficult. And so we're going to need to add that prophetic insight to some of those things that we're going to need to know. And just as an example, right? Kronos. I just posted a video that Balan saw it at $10, go up to $10, and then prophetic intercession saw it drop to $20. So, but the whole point was to sell it before it did drop to $20. So if it's going to go past $20, well, what is that point? What is the top of that? Could it be $30 or $40? Could it be $25 or $22, right? But I think these are all warnings to let us know, like, hey, sell some at $10, and maybe you're going to put it into another crypto. Then make sure you sell off whatever else you have before it drops down to $20. And then you can always get back in. And so you're going to need prophetic insight, whether or not, okay, I took profit before it reached $20. Do I get back in at the $20 mark? Well, you have to see where the markets are at during that time period. When it comes to Shiba Inu, how many of us are going to be taking profits on other cryptocurrencies and putting it into Shiba Inu or Lunic or any other cryptos like XRP or even XLM? And so you see how, like, with the markets moving, you see all these different cryptos, they're moving, but there are some cryptos like Shiba's not moving, other ones are not moving, like we're seeing with some of the other cryptos. Well, maybe there's a reason for that, and there might be a time where it's like, okay, I need to pour some of these profits into some of these other coins, right, before they take off. I do want to talk a little bit about the flash crash, because there's some people that have been trying to pray the flash crash through for the year 2023. And people need to understand, first of all, we don't even have the Bitcoin ETFs even approved yet, right? You have Coinbase, who is being the custodial for all these major players, and all that just got done, right? But when you know that there's only 19 million Bitcoin out there, and only 1.87 million are actually on exchanges right now. So that means the rest of the 17 million, well, I think there's a certain percentage that is actually, they say, that might be lost, but everything else is stored off exchange. So you're not going to, if you have a flash crash, somebody's cold wallet is not going to transfer Bitcoin to you if it's stored off exchange. And trust me, the moment that a flash crash happens and people lose their Bitcoin, they will never, ever, ever again put in a stop loss order, or they will, or these companies that use trading bots or AI, they'll change their parameters as far as when there's a drop in the markets. So out of the top exchanges where all the Bitcoin is stored, right, you see Binance still has over 500,000 Bitcoin. Well, you can't place low buy limit orders for Binance for Bitcoin. So there's even less on exchanges. There's like 1.25 million on exchanges that you can actually like set low buy limit orders on. And I don't know about some of these other exchanges. I mean, KuCoin only has 8,621 Bitcoin on this exchange, and people have $300 or $400 worth of orders. You would be able to buy all of that in a flash crash. And just to kind of give you an example here, if KuCoin only has 8,000 Bitcoin on it right now, if you placed a $10 order at 0.001, that's 10,000. That's all the Bitcoin on KuCoin. How many of you have some of these orders? Right? I know I do. And I know that there are people out there, and I think this is ridiculous, that have like $1,000 worth of low buy limit orders for Bitcoin on each exchange, which is, I don't think that God meant for you to do all that. But just think about all the people that already have a whole bunch of orders. So even a $10 order at 0.01 at 1 cent is 1,000. So that means if you only have 9 people place a $10 low buy limit order at 1 cent, that's all the Bitcoin on KuCoin. So I don't know when this flash crash is going to happen, and I don't know if there's enough Bitcoin on the exchanges right now to actually make that happen as far as like this whole wealth transfer that some of these people are talking about when it comes to Bitcoin. I mean, according to the last estimates, BlackRock holds 118,000 Bitcoin, MicroStrategy 189,000. What exchanges are they using? They're using Coinbase, right? What did Maria Conwell say to put your low buy limit order in at? What, 10 cents on Coinbase? But Coinbase is just recently has the custody holder for a lot of these hedge funds. And so there's a lot of people that even before I got into placing low buy limit orders, they already had low buy limit orders on because I didn't know about Christopher Harris and some of the other prophecies that were going on about this in 2021. I didn't find out until closer to the end of 2021. But these people had already known about some of these prophecies for 6 months prior to that. So anybody who's placing a low buy limit order right now, remember the orders that you place, it's first come, first serve. So if I place the order now, but somebody else has placed the order a month ago or a year ago, their order should kick in first before mine does. So you better pray and hope that there's more crypto that comes onto exchanges. And you can basically, unless Binance changes, you can exclude over 550,000 worth of 550,000 Bitcoin. You can exclude that part. You got Coinbase, you got Bitfinex, OKX, Gemini, Kraken. You see that Kraken's only got 71,000 Bitcoin on there. There's not millions on each one of these exchanges. Now, if there's going to be this great big wealth transfer of Bitcoin, then we need to see a lot more Bitcoin come off exchanges. God doesn't have to do it that way either, though, right? So I don't know down the road in the future how things are going to happen, but it all remains to be seen. So the best thing for everybody right now is just to wait. And that's why I say, folks, it's going to be important on who you listen to, and that's why we're just going to take this step by step. So that's all that I have for this today. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.